Good early Thursday afternoon to you. This weather video is driven by 802cars.com, representing 802 Toyota, Twin Cities Subaru, and 802 Honda. They're all located off of Exit 7 on I-89. Generally benign weather for the utilities for this period. The rest of today, Thursday, through Wednesday, October the 19th. Cold frontal showers will work through during the day, Thursday afternoon. This will be followed by decent project weather for Friday, Saturday, and most of Sunday before the next cold frontal boundary works in with some more showers. There's a potential for some rainfall catch-up on Monday and possibly into Tuesday morning. That'll be followed by more unsettled weather for the middle part of the week and a potential gradient wind event on Wednesday that would feature southeasterly winds that could be up around the 40-mile-per-hour mark, with some leaves holding on to some of the tree canopies. We'll have to watch that closely for the middle of next week. You see here the cold front moving through the region, and with a band of showers, about 3-4 hours worth, I guess. And it does look like the frontal system is pushing in across the region with much colder temperatures. Up across areas of the northern Rockies, there has been some mountain elevation snows, even down to the valley floors, and some of that colder air has tracked across parts of the Dakotas. Some of that colder air is going to make it in here for Friday, keeping temperatures relatively cold. Also, in the southeast part of the picture here, we can see a reconnaissance flight with currently Category 2, 3, 4 Nicole, and I think it's losing its intensity, but it is tracking through the area around Bermuda, and they may need some extra help there in the near future. Looking at the 6-hourly panels of the European model, which includes pressure thicknesses, isobars, as well as precipitation. You can see that precipitation in the green and gray. This is our cold front moving through, and with Vermont here, you can see the leading edge makes it in here through about 2 o'clock or so, and it will continue to drop a little bit of much-needed rain shower activity, but it moves on and out very quickly, and we get into more sunshine during the day on Friday. It starts the first of 3 days of dry project weather, or 2.5 days. That area of higher pressure is relatively strong, elongated, and forcing a tightening pressure gradient, but that stays off to the north of our region, and so the progression is such that by late in the day on Sunday, we'll see a frontal system begin to sag south and east. We'll have a little bit of a south wind starting to pick up. This is valid about 2 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. So that progression takes that frontal system into the region during mainly Sunday later in the day or more toward the evening hours. And that system then, that frontal system stalls out and it gets picked up as a warm front. And then an area of low pressure begins to develop along the frontal system. And then it moves quickly out to our east. We get into slightly better conditions. It kind of unsettled. And this is where our pressure gradient is tight enough that we might see some gradient wind event. And this will be along about Tuesday night into Wednesday. One thing interesting here is that we are going to pick up close to about an inch of precipitation over the course of the next 7 days, according to the Weather Prediction Center. And note what's going on in Northern California, the Northern Sierra, the coastal ranges of California, up into Washington and Oregon, and into the Rockies. Much needed rain up in that general area as well, and boy, they're going to get some. Some amounts here could be greater than 3, 4, 5 inches. And you're looking at the NCAR ensemble. I want you to call your attention here. This is our frontal system that's going to be moving into Vermont, and it kind of peters out with much lighter precipitation at the coast. Over in the Pacific Northwest, keep an eye on this. This comes in. This was during the overnight period, but watch the accumulation of the precipitation. It is quite something. This will be valid about 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. So you can see some of the amounts here, greater than 3 inches across a wide area. And it only continues. And finally, 48 hours out. Again, note, not much in the way for Vermont, but we're up in that area around a third to perhaps a half inch of rainfall. Much needed. Temperatures over the next 5 days, at least high temperatures, will be running about 3 to 6 degrees above normal. What about 3 days later? Well, those are the weighted temperatures. They only increase at 6 and then 9 degrees above normal, warmest across parts of northern Vermont. And I thought it was interesting to note that this is a leftover of a typhoon that gets in the Pacific Northwest and produces an atmospheric river of high precipitable water and decent amounts of rainfall. Again, owing to Northern California up into southern British Columbia, you can see most of the precipitation working into this region. Quick look at the temperature schematic. Today's high temperature, one of the last warmer ones we're going to see for a few days anyway. And getting up in that 60 to 65 degree temperature range. Again, this is centered on Montpelier. Lows tonight down around 35 to 40, and then up around 50 degrees for a high, or even a little bit short of that. Coldest night with more frost to be expected certainly on Friday night, Saturday morning, and then we go back up in temperature. Another chilly night, and then a slow ride in temperatures up around 65 again on, yes, Sunday, this coming weekend. And then we're into that sort of unsettled period with a little bit higher rainfall, temperatures relatively moderate. And I'll just leave you on this note. Note that this is, again, centered on Montpelier, Vermont. Some of the ensembles of the European indicate that perhaps we might see just a little smidgen of snow. This is 2 inches, 4 inches, and so forth. But you can see the progression here. This goes out, I think it's 46 days. Would not really trust a whole lot of this, but it is kind of fun to watch this, to see this come along. And it does look like around the 21st, you could see a little snow, especially in the local higher terrain. Thanks for watching. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights.